Good morning, everyone. Everyone can hear me? We're all good? My name is Sydney Plant. I'm the Acting Associate Administrator for Strategic Engagement, and I have the honor of being your MC today. Welcome to the 2026 National Maritime Day observance. Today, we pause to honor the men and women of the United States Merchant Marine and America's maritime industry for their sacrifice to the nation and the world. Please rise and remain standing if you are able for the official party's entrance, the presentation of colors, and the singing of the national anthem. Following this, the colors will be retired, and Sister of the Handmaids, Joanna Okereke of the United States Conference of Bishops will provide the invocation. United States Merchant Marine Academy Color Guard, please advance the colors.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
What a beautiful day. Good and gracious God, we gather today in gratitude and reverence as we celebrate the National Maritime Day to honor the United States Merchant Marines and the maritime industry. On this special day, we give thanks for the men and women of the sea, past and present, whose skill, courage, and perseverance sustain our global trade, protect our shores, and connect nations across vast waters. Today, we humbly ask that you bless, protect, and guide them for their sacrifices and immense contributions. May they continue to experience peace and fulfillment in their work, knowing that they are your instruments in making our global world a better place. As we celebrate this National Maritime Day, may we also inspire the next generation to embrace the maritime profession with pride, innovation, and leadership, still in them a respect for the ocean, a dedication to excellence, and a sense of purpose. As we observe this National Maritime Day, we lift our hearts in thanksgiving to God for making the rivers and oceans a channel of transportation for humanity. May we renew our resolve to support mariners, advance maritime education, and safeguard the waters entrusted to us. Guide and bless all gathered here and all who share in the maritime mission. With hope and trust, we offer this invocation. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Thank you, Sister Joanna, for your prayers, and thank you to the Color Guard and Mr. Richard Weinerman. At this time, it is my distinct privilege to introduce Maritime Administrator Captain Stephen Carmel.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for being here on this great day. General Reed, all of our distinguished guests, awardees, and colleagues for being here today, thank you. Welcome to the United States Department of Transportation headquarters for our 2026 National Maritime Day observance. Today we honor the indelible courage, sacrifice, and enduring legacy of the United States Merchant Marine. From peacetime commerce to front lines of global conflicts, the strength of our nation relies heavily on the strength of our maritime industry. As we look forward to the future, ensuring that the United States remains a dominant global maritime power requires visionary leadership and unwavering support at the highest levels of government. We are incredibly fortunate to have a leader at the helm of this department who deeply understands the vital role that our maritime sector plays in both our economic prosperity and our national security. Secretary Duffy has dedicated his career to public service and fighting for the American people. As the Secretary of Transportation, he is championing the policies, investments, and innovations necessary to keep America moving forward and restore America's maritime dominance. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the 20th United States Secretary of Transportation, the Honorable Sean P. Duffy.
Good morning, everybody. First, I want to say thank you to Steve Carmel. Steve is grayer than he used to be, but he's an example of someone who knows this industry so well, loves this industry, and was willing to step up and step in and give some of his time back, some of his energy and knowledge back to his government to help revitalize, remake, this industry. And so I appreciate his service, and he's just been one of the great friends and allies on the team at DOT. So Steve, thank you for your work. To all of you, welcome to DOT. I'm honored that you all are here. I'm honored to be here with all of you. The National Maritime Day, it's such an important day for our nation. It's a day for us to reflect and honor the patriots who have built, secured, and sustained America's power on the seas. For too long, our merchant mariners have been the unsung heroes of our national security and our national story. You keep our economy moving, you keep our energy lines open, you keep our shelves stocked, and you ensure our military on the front lines are fully equipped. We thank you for your bravery, your resilience, and your unwavering service to country. Now, I think many of you have felt overlooked over the past maybe years or decades. But President Trump and the Trump administration, we're changing that. Through the executive order to restore America's maritime dominance, we are putting this industry back on the map. And as we talk about honoring and remembering, I think there's no better way to honor and remember than to lean in and rebuild the industry that America used to dominate. That after World War II, we let our maritime industry slip away and slip to others. The best way we remember is to lean into our academies, the Merchant Marine Academy, to lean into shipbuilding, to lean into our great history in this space. I think that's the best way to honor and remember. And I couldn't tell you how honored that I am that I get to serve in this role, in this position. I'm going to be honest, I wasn't quite sure when the president suggested that I come to DOT what he was offering me. And what I very soon found out, how critical every single mode is, how much work there is to do, how some places are put up and some are put down, and how we could look at this whole department and elevate it equally. Because I mentioned this earlier this morning, if you look at what is happening now in the world, I think a lot of Americans often can forget how important this industry is because it works until it doesn't work. And then they recognize, oh wow, wait, this is a critical part of how I do put gas in my car or food on my shelves. And it's at this moment that we can actually lean in because America is thinking about us and make sure that they then respond to us with the right policies, the right energy, and the right resources to make sure we build once again. Again, our military, our Navy is amazing. But on the commercial side, let's pay honor by rebuilding this in a way that we pay it forward for future generations. So the honor that I have to serve here, I think if you ask me to change with anybody else in the cabinet, I promise you I'd take no one else's job because I have the best job in all of the departments. So the president actually, by the way, he asked me one day, he's like, hey, would you want to go somewhere? What are you thinking? I'm like, I'm good, Mr. President. I love where I'm at. Thank you. But I also know today that we are going to honor the merchant with the Merchant Marine Medal for Outstanding Achievement. And we have 6 recipients of that award. And I want to congratulate our recipients who are going to receive that award today. And also, since the first time since 2019, we're going to present the Gallant Ship Award. I think we have 23 recipients. They're in the pamphlets. But congratulations to those recipients. Let's have a wonderful day where we can celebrate those who came before us. We can honor those who came before us, those who sacrificed, but also do that through fellowship and new relationships and new friendships and new bonds and new ideas. I'm going to step off and I'm going to turn it back. I'm amazed at the kind of ideas that Steve has because he knows this industry so well. But the best ideas and the partnership that comes from all of you in this room is what's necessary if we're going to be successful. And maybe you were never asked before, you're being asked now. This is our time to lean in. This is this moment for us to take at least the next 2.5 years, and in 2.5, that's a long time. We can radically transform our trajectory, but it's everybody in government, in industry, working together to make that happen. So the invitation is open to everybody. Steve is going to give you all his cell phone number, so you can all text him and email him and call him. He can't wait for that. Again, thank you. It's an honor to be here with all of you and to honor those who came before us. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you, Secretary Duffy. We now turn to a central tradition of our Maritime Day observance, the award ceremony. As I read the names, Captain Carmel will present the awards. First, the Merchant Marine Medal for Outstanding Achievement. This is awarded to merchant mariners who have participated in an act or operation of humanitarian nature on behalf of an individual or groups of individuals. This medal can also be awarded to those in the maritime industry who have dedicated years of service and/or have given extraordinary contributions to the maritime industry. 6 current and former officers of the American Merchant Marine Veterans Organization were nominated for this award. In part, the nomination reads, AMMV represents the interests of all U.S. mariners and their collective history. AMMV national officers are volunteers who serve in strictly unpaid positions. Over the past decade, they have selfishly worked to honor our World War II mariners and preserve their history. From Memorial Day and Veterans Day in D.C., to the Congressional Gold Medal, to the beaches of Normandy, the AMMV national officers have defined what can be considered an outstanding achievement. Will the national officers of American Merchant Marine Veterans please come forward and join Captain Carmel on stage? We are awarding the Merchant Marine Medal for Outstanding Achievement to Captain Drew DiMattia. Captain Christopher Edevine. Captain Darren Huggins. Chief Engineer Christian Uhas. Bosun John Pitts posthumously. Accepting the award for Bosun Pitts is his daughter, Teresa Garcia. And Mr. Dennis Kelly, who is not in attendance but is watching online. Congratulations. We will now hear brief remarks from AMMV President, Captain Darren Huggins.
Thank you very much. It's quite the honor to be here today, and it's been a long road getting recognition for the U.S. Merchant Marine, so appreciate all the stakeholders here, Transcom, DOT, Secretary Duffy, Military SEAL of Command, Admiral Nicholson, and we're proud of the work we do. And we are kind of the unseen heroes, especially when it comes to past and present. We had 9,500 mariners that passed during World War II. And currently we have our mariners sailing in harm's way with Operation Epic Fury. And We don't just ensure the mission, we make the mission happen. Because without the United States Merchant Marine, the cargo doesn't get there, the troops are not supplied, and when the mission happens, the Merchant Marine shows up first. So we appreciate that. We appreciate everybody being here, and heave ho.
Our next award is a rare presentation of the Gallant Ship Award. The last time it was awarded to a ship was in 2019. The Gallant Ship Unit Citation was created by President Franklin D. Roosevelt in 1944 and recognizes a vessel participating in outstanding or gallant action in a marine disaster or other emergency to save life or property at sea. Only 42 vessels have been designated as a gallant ship in the past 82 years. And today, we add a 43rd gallant ship and crew, MV Stena Immaculate. The citation reads, on the morning of March 10, 2025, off the coast of Hull, United Kingdom, the container vessel MV Salong, traveling at 16 knots, collided with the anchored U.S. flag tanker, MV Stena Immaculate. The impact ruptured a cargo tank on Stena Immaculate, which contained 17,000 barrels of jet fuel, triggering a massive explosion that engulfed the deck and surrounding water in flames. Despite the sudden chaos, the Stena Immaculate crew responded with remarkable discipline and bravery. Alarms were raised without delay, crew members mustered, and firefighting teams engaged. Under the direction of the vessel's captain and senior officers, the crew used the vessel's fire monitors and boundary cooling system, and protective spray and foam were directed to contain the fire, preventing it from spreading to adjacent cargo tanks. These decisive actions averted loss of life, total loss of the vessel, and a catastrophic environmental disaster in the North Sea. As conditions deteriorated, the captain ordered the crew to abandon ship. Even in the face of intense heat and toxic smoke, the crew remained composed, ensuring that fire pumps and inert gas generators remained operational before evacuating. This foresight proved vital in limiting the fire's ultimate destruction. Despite the ever-present threat of additional explosions, all 23 mariners aboard evacuated safely and reached shore without serious injury. The courage, seamanship, and ingenuity of the vessel's captain and crew bring honor upon themselves, their ship, the U.S. flag fleet, causing the name of Stena Immaculate to be perpetuated as a gallant ship. To the captain and crew of Stena Immaculate, thank you for your courage and bravery. You bring honor to all who sail in the United States Merchant Marine. It is my privilege on behalf of the U.S. Department of Transportation and the Maritime Administration and the people of the United States of America to present the captain and crew of Stena Immaculate with the Gallant Ship Award. Will the crew of MV Stena Immaculate and the leadership of Crowley and Stena Bulk please come forward and join Captain Carmel on stage? The plaque presented today symbolizes the proud history of the award. We will now recognize the Stena Immaculate crew. Captain Thomas Leaf, Chief Mate Thor Pearson, Second Mate Peter Scaris, Third Mate Eric Carlson, Third Mate Jeffrey Griffin, Bosun Jan Siri, Able Seaman Carlo Magno Surigo, Able Seaman Reginald Macon, Able Seaman Hamdani Nurdin, Able Seaman David Graham, Ordinary Seaman Benjamin Brown, Chief Engineer Demeter Maitev, First Assistant Engineer Charles Ellsworth, Second Assistant Engineer Spencer Hamilton, Second Assistant Engineer Frank Harris III, Third Assistant Engineer Stephen Fonte Jr., QMed Jeffrey Nicholson, QMed Florine Turkios, QMed Pumpman George Mardones, Wiper Kenyatta Mabin, Steward Michael Page, Cook Francis Solmerano, Steward Assistant Ardesia Hill. It is also customary to award the captain of a gallant ship with the Merchant Marine Medal for outstanding achievement. Captain Leaf could not be here in person, so we ask that Crowley Executive Vice President and Divisional President of Shipping and Logistics, James C. Fowler, accept the award on his behalf and say some brief remarks.
Good morning. Secretary Duffy, General Reed, Administrator Carmel, and distinguished guests. On behalf of Crowley and the 23 brave men and women of the Stena Immaculate, I am honored to accept the Gallant Ship Award. And before anything else, before recognition, before ceremony, before applause, we honor the crew of the Stena Immaculate. The crew who on December 10th, 2025, in the cold and unforgiving waters of the North Sea, faced danger without hesitation and answered with courage. In a moment of uncertainty, they did not panic. In a moment of fear, they did not falter. They relied on one another, they trusted their training, and they carried forward a tradition as old as this nation itself, the tradition of American mariners who stand watch when no one else can. Now, those of us in this room understand something that the world too often forgets. Most Americans will never see the ships. They'll never meet the crews, but every single day they depend on them. They depend on the mariner bringing fuel to communities, carrying food, medicine, equipment, and commerce across oceans and along our coast, sustaining our economy in times of prosperity and our nation in times of crisis. And when the world becomes uncertain, when supply chains strain, when disaster strikes, when our military must move, when America calls, it's the American mariner who answers first. Not for recognition, not for glory, but because of their unwavering commitment to duty and country. That spirit was alive on the Stena Immaculate. It was there in the discipline of the crew, in their calm under pressure, in their willingness to place duty before self. And that spirit matters now more than ever for our country. It's about whether this nation will continue to have the skilled men and women capable of carrying America's commerce, protecting America's interest, and sustaining America's security here at home and around the world. That capability does not appear overnight. It cannot be improvised in moments of crisis. It must be built, it must be sustained, and yes, even in the midst of this Jones Act waiver, it must be defended. So today, we honor this extraordinary crew, and in doing so, let's also renew our commitment to the American mariner. Let us recognize that a strong maritime nation requires more than admirations after heroism. It requires investment. It requires resolve. It requires all of us in government, in industry, and across this country to raise our voices in support of the men and women who keep America moving. Because if we want secure supply chains, if we want economic strength, if we want readiness in moments of conflict and crisis, then America must continue to invest in the people and the vessels that carry our flag. And I believe we will. I believe we will because there is still in this country a deep understanding that America is strongest when we can rely on one another. When we can build with our own hands, we can sail with our own crews and answer uncertainty with not with dependence, but with capability. This is not simply maritime policy. That is national strength, that is economic security, and yes, that's the Jones Act in U.S. maritime. Today we celebrate 23 brave American mariners. But we also celebrate something larger, the enduring hope that the United States will remain a maritime nation, that we will continue to stand behind the men and women who sail under our flag, and that when this country needs them the most, American mariners will still be there, steady, ready, and unwilling to yield to any sea. To the crew of the Stena Immaculate, your courage honored your ship, your actions honored your profession, and your example honored the United States of America. We're proud of you, we thank you, and today, this nation salutes you.
Congratulations once again, and thank you for your service. I now ask Captain Carmel to come up and share his remarks.
Good morning again, everybody. General Reed, distinguished guests, and especially members of our great industry. Everyone is represented here today. Industry, labor, ocean carriers, Great Lakes, inland waterways, and military partners. All essential elements of our maritime system. A failure in any one of them is a failure for all of them as the system itself fails. So we all have to have each other's back. We win or lose together. And I'd like to give a special shout out to my great friend and partner, General Reed. Our industry has no greater ally than General Reed and the Transcom team. We at MARAD, and me personally, are privileged to work with them. Today we celebrate Maritime Day. Every Maritime Day gives us the opportunity not only to honor the men and women who sail, build, finance, maintain, and operate the American maritime enterprise, but also to reflect on what maritime leadership actually looks like. Because maritime history is not simply the story of ships. It is a story of systems. In 1819, the steamship SS Savannah crossed the Atlantic in one of the great symbolic voyages in maritime history. That very voyage we still commemorate today. It is what Maritime Day is for. It proved that a different technological future was possible, the transition from sail to steam in the transatlantic trade. A model of that ship is right off to the port side here, and for Army guys, bow port. The original Savannah did not transform the maritime industry. The economics, infrastructure, regulatory environment, and global operating models were not ready. Inspiration alone does not change systems or the world. The Savannah spent only about 90 hours on steam power, and while a bold technology demonstrator, was a commercial failure. Just 1 year earlier, though, in 1818, the Black Ball Line did something actually revolutionary. It introduced liner service, ships sailing on fixed dates, whether full or not. That single innovation reshaped trade behavior, finance, insurance, ship design, and the entire logic of maritime commerce. The fundamental relationship between cargo and ship was changed, the architecture of trade was changed, and New York became the maritime center of the universe for decades. The world was a different place. Liner shipping networks is still, 220 years later, how ocean shipping is organized. That is the impact of true innovation. Black Ball Line was not merely a shipment company, it was a system innovation. More than a century later, the nuclear ship NS Savannah once again demonstrated extraordinary American engineering and ambition. Yet once again, the surrounding system did not change. Ports, regulations, insurance, and commercial models lag behind. It was again an outstanding technology demonstrator, but did nothing for trade itself. History teaches us this lesson again and again. Ships matter, technology matters, but systems define outcomes. And that is why what we are doing today is so significant. We are not pursuing isolated programs or demonstration vessels. We are deliberately rebuilding an entire maritime ecosystem. Shipbuilding, ports, mariners, financing, energy, and industrial capacity as interconnected elements of national power. Nowhere is this systems-first approach more evident than our work on advanced nuclear propulsion and small modular reactors. This time, we are not treating SMRs as a science project. We are building the full architecture required for scale, modern regulatory frameworks, insurance structures, port integration, workforce development, international standards, and financing mechanisms. Because transformative technology only changes the world when the system around it changes too. Containerization did not revolutionize shipping because of a steel box. It revolutionized shipping because the entire maritime ecosystem reorganized itself around a new operating model. The result was a transformed world. The very fabric of civilization was rewoven. A successful SMR ecosystem will do the same, altering the geometry of trade and vastly reducing the tyranny of distance. The constraint of time in mobility calculations changes dramatically. Strategic mobility will become a different conversation. It will reshape shipbuilding, redefine trade corridors, and create lasting competitive advantage for those bold enough to lead. The fabric of civilization is again set to be rewoven. We must be, and we will be, the architects of this advantage. If the first Savannah represented possibility, and Black Ball Line represented system transformation, our challenge today is to unite the two, to pair bold innovation with durable institutional change, not simply to build ships, but to rebuild American maritime advantage, to recapture the American maritime heritage. We are not here simply to admire history. We are here to make it. Have a great Maritime Day. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain. Next, it is my honor to introduce General Randall Reed, the 15th Commander of U.S. Transportation Command.
Good morning, everyone. A great-looking crowd. I'm honored to represent the United States Transportation Command and the men and women here who wear the uniforms of our armed services. I'd like to say thank you to Secretary Duffy and my best friend, Captain Steve Carmel, and it's great to share the stage with you. Thank you. And the entire Department of Transportation for the invitation today. In both the Department of War and the commercial maritime sector, people are noticing that our relationship is becoming a stronger strategic partnership, and that's powerful. And it's happening with the leadership of SecTrans, Chief of Staff Meacham, and the whole Department of Transportation team and our Transcom staff. So thank you for that. This National Maritime Day is indeed a great day, and that's because we're celebrating the Merchant Marine, both licensed and unlicensed. At U.S. Transcom, we say, together we deliver. And with 20 vessels transiting the world daily, and our global reach is possible through our merchant marine and maritime shipping partners. That means we will need and still need many qualified merchant mariners. So together with Captain Carmel, we visited today's mariners at each of our state-funded maritime educational institutions and the United States Merchant Marine Academy. In each case, the cadets and midshipmen of these institutions are ready to deliver now. And they're ready to get to sea. And they're ready to meet America's commercial demands. And they're ready to man the ready reserve fleet for the immediate capacity our country needs. With the sustainment delivered by our commercial partners in the voluntary intermodal sea lift agreement, this combined sea lift capacity creates the projection of our warfighters at a time and place of our nation's choosing. Simply put, our joint deployment and distribution enterprise is grateful for the groundbreaking changes in generating and maintaining our merchant marine to create American maritime dominance. Again, that's why we like to say, together we deliver, because with the dedication of our merchant marine and the support of our commercial partners, we deliver for the warfighter and the American people. And together, we are restoring America's maritime leadership. In peace and war, together we deliver. Thank you.
Thank you, General Reed. Next, please welcome David Heindel, President of the Seafarers International Union.
Good morning. Can you hear me? All right, good, because I can't hear myself. Nevertheless, good morning, everybody. It's truly an honor to join you this morning as we celebrate America's merchant mariners and the proud legacy of the United States Merchant Marine. On behalf of my brothers and sisters throughout maritime labor, I want to extend our sincere gratitude, appreciation, and outstanding work being done by Secretary Sean Duffy and, of course, our Maritime Administrator, Stephen Carmel. You have brought leadership and focus and confidence to our industry, and we know that we're in good hands with you guys at the helm. So we really appreciate the fact that you are here and you're looking out and watching our backs. Also, I'd like to thank the Maritime Administration, the organizers, of course, Crowley and James Fowler, for recognizing the crew of the Stena Immaculate on the occasion of the vessel receiving the gallant ship citation. Their professionalism, courage, and dedication under challenging circumstances exemplify the very best of the U.S. Merchant Marine. The crew's actions serve as a powerful reminder that America's merchant mariners continue to answer the call whenever duty demands it. We congratulate them on a well-deserved recognition and thank them for their service to the nation and, of course, the industry. Of course, I cannot pass up the opportunity to recognize our apprentices in the back of the room from the Paul Hall Center. You and the cadets alongside are the future of this industry. And you could not have chosen a better career that is not only rewarding, but also honorable. You are joining a profession built on sacrifice, professionalism, patriotism, and service to country. Last year alone, the Paul Hall Center trained nearly 3,000 mariners in upgrading courses, including unlimited deck officers, while also graduating more than 300 apprentices, of which 185 received their able-bodied seafarer endorsements in 2025. Well, we are far from alone in that effort. The maritime academies, our sister unions, and industry partners across the country are all working tirelessly to recruit and train the next generation of American mariners so we can meet the manpower needs of our industry. Ladies and gentlemen, these are both exciting and challenging times for American maritime. The executive order and the Maritime Action Plan from the White House, together with the SHIPS Act, have sent a powerful signal that our nation is finally recognizing what maritime labor and industry have always known, that a strong U.S. Merchant Marine is essential to our national security, national economic, and homeland security. Recent testimony from General Reed, and thank you, General, reminded us all that our role as a nation's fourth arm of defense is every bit as important today as it ever has been. And we have seen that reality firsthand. While our industry's involvement in Operation Epic Fury may not have followed the traditional model of wartime activation, I could not be prouder of the patriotic response from American mariners, whether it meant activating ships just in case, remaining on standby, or enduring the uncertainty while operating in the Persian Gulf. Our mariners answered the call without hesitation, while other nationalities, and I know this firsthand, refused to sail into the area or demanded relief before they got into the area. We don't do that here in the U.S. We go where we're needed. I have spoken directly with many of our members involved, and not one viewed it as a burden. They viewed it as a duty. That operation demonstrated exactly why maintaining a strong U.S. flag fleet with American crews matters. And while I'm at it, and on the subject, on behalf of the crews of the CF Anthem and the Alliance Fairfax, I want to express our sincere gratitude to our armed forces and the administration for safely escorting our 2 American flag vessels out of the Persian Gulf last month during a period of heightened danger and uncertainty. So thank you very much to those that looked after, again, our backs. Looking ahead, bipartisan support for American Maritime will remain absolutely essential if we are serious, and I underscore, if we are serious about restoring and sustaining our nation's maritime strength. That means steadfast support for the programs and policies that form the foundation of our industry. Strong and consistently enforced cargo preference laws, the Maritime Security Program, at full funding, I'll add, the Tanker Security Program, and of course, the cornerstone of them all, the Jones Act. Let's be candid here for a moment, if I can. I probably won't get invited back, but that's okay. Let's be candid. There is an elephant in the room. And I would be remiss if I failed to mention the ill-advised 5-month Jones Act waiver. Anything less undermines our ability to recruit the best and brightest mariners of today while training the highly trained and seasoned men and women sailing on board our vessels of this time. And anything less threatens the long-term commercial investment necessary to sustain a U.S. flag fleet. As all of you know, the U.S. Merchant Marine has served this nation since the earliest days. In peace and war, American merchant mariners have always answered the call. That legacy is deeply important to all of us in the SIU, as it is to our brothers and sisters from the American Maritime Officers, the Master Mates and Pilots, the Marine Engineers Beneficial Association, the Sailors Union of the Pacific, and the Marine Firemen, and every maritime organization and institution that has helped sustain this industry for more than 250 years. And we must never place our armed forces in a position where they are forced to rely upon foreign ships, foreign crews to support American military operations. This is simply not maritime policy. This is common sense. National Maritime Day honors mariners from every generation, and the SIU especially remembers our 1,235 members who gave their lives during World War II. They were part of the great sea lift operation in world history, an effort without which we don't believe the war could have been won without them. They truly were part of the greatest generation. But today's mariners have a story to tell themselves. Just a few weeks ago, we held a graduation in Piney Point for 14 seafarers who completed the highest level of curriculum available to them. As part of that ceremony, each graduate spoke briefly to their fellow members and apprentices in attendance. And I wish you all could have heard their message. Their remarks were inspirational. They talked about how the industry, the union, and the school helped them build meaningful and rewarding careers. In some cases, they spoke openly about how maritime changed and even saved their lives. Several recalled earlier experiences sailing on foreign ships and were candid about the stark difference they found sailing under the Stars and Stripes. They spoke about the dignity that comes with earning a good family-sustaining wage aboard U.S. flag vessels. They spoke about the safety protections and workplace voice and benefits provided by a union contract. And they encouraged the apprentices to stay committed to their journeys because they are already part of something larger than themselves, something that truly matters to this country. Most importantly, they spoke of pride about serving as part of the 4th Armored Defense, and they understood they were carrying forward a legacy that stretches back now centuries. These stories are personal, but the message behind them is universal throughout our industry. American mariners are the best trained seafarers in the world. American mariners served this nation since the very beginning. American mariners support our troops wherever and whenever needed. And American mariners will always answer the call, so long as we maintain a strong and viable domestic and international U.S. flag industry for them to call home. Ladies and gentlemen, those are the people we honor today. Those are the people who make every effort to preserve this industry, and those are the people America can count on today, tomorrow, and for generations to come. May God bless our crews, our troops, and the United States of America. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Heindel. Next, I would like to introduce Greg Binion, CEO of Mainstay Maritime.
Well, good morning, and I'd like to start by also adding my thanks to our partners at DOT and MARAD for your leadership and continued commitment to America's maritime strength. And thanks to all of you for being here today. Your presence means an investment of your time and attention, which is what exactly we need at this moment in time. It's my honor to be here on National Maritime Day to celebrate the essential role that marine transportation plays in both our national security and economic resilience. My name's Greg Binion. I'm the CEO of Mainstay Maritime, who's an owner and operator of 16 self-unloading Lakers and another 6 specialty vessels that annually deliver about 40 million tons of critical cargoes, or about 40% of the average cargoes delivered in the Great Lakes. To provide you a sense of scale, our largest 6 vessels each are 1,000 feet long, almost as long as the Ronald Reagan, one of our proud aircraft carriers. Putting our 23 ships end to end, they stretch out for 3 miles, or roughly from where you sit today to the Lincoln Memorial. As impressive as this fleet is, however, they sit tied to the dock without our 750 amazing mariners. Many of them are represented by our union partners here today. Each have their own story and ambitions, but all share in the belief that cargo volumes and preference rules will remain and their careers will remain safe. Mainstay is part of a Great Lakes maritime system of U.S.-owned, crewed, and flagged vessels, which for over a century has moved the materials that quite literally build and power this country. Specifically, 90% of high-quality blast furnace steel, 1/3 of U.S.-produced aggregates, cement, and asphalt. This work that our mariners do every day in the treacherous waters of the Great Lakes is the quiet and essential work of maritime transportation. It's how infrastructure gets built, it's how supply chains function, and it's how economic resilience is sustained.